Maruti Suzuki's People Technology presents Suzuki Connect with Navigate to Car and many other features.
Watch more, feel more. Dell.
So a couple of sixes to wrap up the West Indies batting performance in this World Cup by Andre Russell takes them to 157 in this game that's more important for Australia than it is for the Windies. We'll see what Daren, Ganga and Tom Moody make of it on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout powered by Dell. 157 then. Tom, if you were Australia, how are you feeling about that?
I'll be feeling reasonably comfortable. I think it's probably a par, just maybe slightly below par score. It looks like a good surface, and being a day game, I don't see that changing in the second innings. So Australia will be okay with it. They'd be probably thinking with the early wickets they took, they may have been able to bowl West Indies out for less than 157, but still, they won't be overly concerned.
Okay, Darren, do you share that view? Thoughts on the score?
Indeed, yeah. You need to get a total, I would say, in excess of 170 when you're playing against a team like Australia with such a good batting lineup. Definitely below par in my estimation.
All right, fair enough. It just went wrong at the top there. Now, is that down to excellent bowling from Josh Hazlewood, Tom? Is that a consistent problem with their top order? Will we ever see this top order again with Chris Gale at the top of it?
Well, the way he left the field, I think that's probably his way of saying goodbye to international cricket. To me, it was more the response of his teammates. He may have said something to the team prior to this match. There was a lot of high fives and hugging and well wishing, and he also sort of saluted the crowd, which, it's hard to read Chris Gale at the best of times. He salutes the crowd all the time, but. Yeah, I doubt very much whether we see this combination at the top of the order again for West Indies. Look, to me, they went out and played nearly like it was a celebration of a couple of retirements. Both the way Gale and Bravo left the field, it was nearly like everyone was celebrating such decorated careers.
Would you go with that, Darren? It did look like Bravo coming in ahead of Russell, ahead of even maybe Jason Holder with bat was more about the send-offs today than the actual game.
Indeed, I definitely agree with Tom there. It came across as if this entire tournament was about Chris Gale and Dwayne Bravo, and this being their last sort of appearance for the West Indies. And whilst they would have contributed significantly to West Indies' success in white ball cricket, Chris Gale, arguably the best T20 batsman, I still think there needed to be more of a balance in terms of the West Indies putting more focus on trying to qualify for the semi-final and eventually defending their title in this T20 World Cup. But having said that, it surely looks as if this will be the last T20 international match for Chris Gale and Dwayne Bravo, two players who've brought immense entertainment for West Indians and for all the followers of this great game of cricket. Sad to see them go in such a limp manner, but again, congratulations for what they've contributed to West Indian cricket across formats. Definitely not the way that they would have wanted to finish their career, and of course, not the way the West Indies would have wanted to bat first against Australia.
Would I be a bit of a party pooper if I said that West Indies weren't focusing enough on this actual game? Bravo comes in ahead of Russell, Gale plays when we could have considered Andre Fletcher perhaps in what's an inconsequential game? Or is it okay to celebrate retirements perhaps at an international game? Tom?
I'm of the view that every match is important. And yeah, I'm not a huge advocate of sort of giving farewell matches and what have you. I think that every match that you play for your country, particularly in an ICC event, you want to make sure that you're winning. Whether the West Indian Selection Committee felt this was the best combination to beat Australia, we can't argue against that because we don't. They have their right for their own view. My view is that there was a number of players that weren't in the form that they needed to be that were playing in this combination. So I would have probably looked at it slightly differently. But they have their motives and also beliefs on what the right combination is, and it's hard to question that without sort of having a debate with them.
Sure. Darren, same question.
Yep. West Indies tried to pick their best team. This has been the case from the onset of this tournament. That team, I don't think, should have included Chris Gayle. They've already committed themselves towards playing him after a couple early failures, and they've just gone along with giving him the opportunity to play his last few matches for the West Indies. That's definitely not the way you want to be playing the T20 World Cup, especially when you have other players who are probably better options in terms of form, in terms of giving a little bit of variety and being a little bit proactive as a selection panel to getting the best. Surely not at a World Cup is where you want to be celebrating the careers of players, maybe in a home series where it's properly announced and where players have the opportunity to interact with home fans. That would have been a better occasion and a better opportunity for the West Indies to celebrate the careers of a Chris Gayle and a Dwayne Bravo.
Yeah, you can see that. It's not like it's a packed house in the Caribbean, which you think would have had more of the vibe for it. But Dwayne Bravo's party continues. He's leading the West Indies onto the field in the second half. And he will end as the West Indies leading wicket taker in T20 internationals. This is, of course, Dwayne Bravo's final game. Came out of retirement for this particular World Cup. Wanted to try and see if we can push a title defense successfully, maybe make it 3 titles for Bravo in a West Indies uniform at the T20 World Cup. But that's where it'll come to an end. I say that, of course, knowing full well that retirements are never permanent these days. So you never know who decides to switch in a little while. And we've already seen the most extraordinary retirement of this World Cup from Asghar Afghan mid-tournament. That's it. Anyway, we'll leave it there. If West Indies have to make a game out of this, Daren, Adam Zampa had a good 4-over spell. Will spin play a big part? How do you see the defense going at this stage?
Yeah, based on what I've seen from Australia in that series they played against the West Indies in the Caribbean, Hayden Walsh Jr. confidence will be very high because he's had a good sort of run against Australia recently. Not quite sure if he's had the right amount of bowling coming into this tournament. He's definitely someone that Karen Pollard will turn to for wickets. But I also think because of this bowling lineup, they will need a collective effort to get the better of Australia. I mean, they're total below par. So much more will be required for them to roll over Australia. This Australian team is beginning to peak. We haven't seen the best of David Warner, and they haven't really been tested in terms of their batting depth. The likes of Stoinis batting at number 5, number 6, and Mitch Marsh, who was left out for that one game against England. He's back in the fray, so he would be looking to contribute significantly batting at number 3.
Aaron Finch said at the toss, Tom, that net run rate is not something he's considering at all. Fair enough?
Yeah, I think that is fair enough. The focus has got to be to get yourselves in a position to win the game. And if you get to that position where you can close the game, a couple of overs early, well, you do so. But, you don't want to be thinking too far ahead. Australia will be just concentrating on making sure they get, into a strong position outside of the power play and then build from there.
As it turns out, about 150, if I'm picking up what's right on Twitter, then about 150 if Australia get there, the net run rate should be fine, even if they don't go down. But they don't want to be in that situation where they need England to do them a favor. Let's pick up the chat at the end of the game. Daren Ganga, Tom Moody, thank you very much. There should be a party or two in the evening. Maybe Chris Gayle will have a bowl. Maybe Dwayne Bravo will come on a bit earlier than the death. So watch out for what seems to be a bit of a party for the West Indies in this last outing in the Super 12s. Join us on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.
Maruti Suzuki's People Technology presents Suzuki Connect with Navigate to Car and many other features.
Watch more, feel more, Dell.